What's up, everybody? It's the Underground Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Jackson. This week, we're talking to founders of Ruin. It's episode 3. Let's play the intro and get right into it. The Underground Podcast is your link to Utah's local music community. In addition, I hope the podcast can be a recognized platform for local and other artists in the music industry. And I'll throw in music reviews, inform you of new music, and tell you about upcoming concerts and events for local and national acts. And I challenge you each week with the song and album of the week. And now, the Underground Podcast with Casey Jackson. Thanks for listening to episode 3 of the Underground Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Jackson. This week, we have a really cool prog metal band called Founders of Ruin. They all agreed to sit down and get an interview with me, and we talk about struggles in the scene, we talk about shit getting stolen from you, the DIY recording process, what it's like being longtime friends and band members, and we get into all that. Well, actually, we'll play that interview for you later on in the episode. As usual, I've got new music reviews for you. I've also got some upcoming events, and as usual, I've got my album and song challenge of the week. So let's start with the new music reviews. This week on the new music reviews, first song that I'm going to tell you guys about. And again, just to go over again, these songs, if you don't like them, that's fine. This is just my opinion, so you can like it or not. I don't give a shit. I'm just telling you about it. Go listen to it. This is some cool shit that come out just this week. All right, number 1, Emery. A song by Emery. It's actually a song that came out a long time ago called The Ponytail Pride, and this is a reimagined recording that they actually came out with. I actually thought it was surprisingly pleasant. It actually kind of sounded like an acoustic version of it, just super clean. All the instruments are beautifully sounding, like added some cool piano parts. It's a great song, has always been a great song, sounds great. It's good to hear something from Emery. It seems like it's been a long time since we've heard anything from them. So, anyway, I gave that a 3 out of 4. So go check that out. Again, that's Emery, The Ponytail Pride Reimagined. Next song is it's a song by an artist called his name's Aaron Gillespie, and you might remember him from Under Oath. He's the drummer / singer. He's got his own solo project. It's not doesn't look like it's any of his other stuff. It's just basically him. He's just using his name, Aaron Gillespie. The song's called "I'll Just Wait," and it's a single by him. It sounded really good. Honestly, it's really Tom Petty-ish, in a good way. You know, it's not like he's just trying to straight rip him off or anything, but well written, well structured song, beautiful melodies. His voice has changed quite a bit. Like, it's like not even the same style that he ever used for Under Oath. It's pretty cool. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 4. Go check that out. That's Aaron Gillespie. The song's called I'll Just Wait. It's on iTunes right now. Next song is by Hot Water Music. This song is called Vultures. It's from a new album called Light It Up. And it's kind of cool to hear. It sounds, I mean, these guys are just one of those bands keeping punk alive, really just straight up rockin' punk, oi punk, you know, that type of stuff. As usual, it's like great drinking music. I've always loved Hot Water Music. Definitely a good song for sure. I gave it a 2.5 out of 4. And that's Hot Water Music. The song is called Vultures from the album Light It Up. Song number 4 is from a band called Wolfmother. I love Wolfmother. This song's called Freedom Is Mine, and it's just a single that they put out this week. I mean, Wolfmother's always kind of been road trip music, kind of getaway music, that type of rock and roll. Really great bluesy guitar riffs. I love this type of straightforward rock and roll. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 4. And it's, again, it's Wolfmother. Freedom is Mine. It's a single they just put out this week, and it's on iTunes. Last but not least is by a band called A Marionette. This song is called Modern Disco. It's a single that they put out this week. This band is for Coheed and Cambria lovers. If you guys love Coheed, they sound a lot. The similarities is in the vocals mostly. They're a lot more prog than Coheed's more straightforward, more on the metal side of prog rock. But this song, Modern Disco, is some of the best prog rock out there, honestly, in my opinion. It does have a bit of a disco feel. Kind of goes along with the name, but I don't know. That sounds like it would be kind of lame, but no, it's just check it out. Just like any prog music, takes you on a journey. Really great song. I loved it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 4. Again, that's A Marionette. The song's called Modern Disco, and that's a single that they put out this week on iTunes. And that's it for New Music Reviews. Here with Founders of Ruin. I'm really excited to be hanging out with these dudes. How you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Good. Thanks for coming on the Underground Podcast. This is as I say almost every episode, it's a podcast to showcase underground bands, give them a platform to promote themselves and get the word out there about their music. So thanks for coming on. And first question right off the bat I have for you guys is just, I like to get to know bands. So how did you guys all meet, and how did the band come together?
It's Parker, play guitar in the band. We all met middle school, high school, jammed in a bunch of other projects in the past. So me and Josh met in middle school in like 7th grade, which was, I don't even know what year, 04 or something, a long time ago. And then, PJ was from, he came to Copper Hills, but I didn't go to Copper Hills. I only went to middle school with Josh, and then they started hanging out and jammed a bunch of music, and been friends ever since.
So you guys are pretty much DIYing the whole recording things and getting all your songs down and promoting yourself and doing all that. You guys are kicking ass on it, if you ask me. Go into that, and what kind of things have you guys had to do, and what are some of the struggles that you've had to deal with doing it that style and not really having any help besides doing it yourself?
My name's Josh. I play guitar in the band. So as far as doing it yourself, we just decided that was probably the best option earlier on when we decided we want to record. All of us jamming since high school, we just went through different projects, and we've been in the scene doing stuff for a long time, and just eventually through band member changes and going through different bands, we all ended up coming back together as Founders of Ruin in the end. Yeah. We've been in other projects together, like Crossfire way back in the high school days, like Parker was saying. But then, it just evolved into Founders of Ruin, which is definitely a lot more modern. It's got a lot more of a just heavier vibe than Crossfire ever did. Crossfire was more of that thrashy stuff. Since Founders of Ruin started, it's gone from more of a thrashy vibe to just progressing on to everything that's modern as well, which now it's just a progressive element that we have, which I love. Progressive music's great, right? But as far as recording goes, we recorded through a couple different people, and we recorded some demos back in the day, and some things happened, and like wrenches got thrown in gears and things got delayed, and we ended up not ever releasing those original demos back in the day. We just ended up slowing down more and more over the years, just because even though we all still had the drive, there was just one thing after another that kind of got in the way of us being able to just accomplish this.
With Founders of Ruin, what's the writing process normally? Like how do the songs come together?
So normally we like to take the somebody that's got an idea takes the reins or like is the head of the writing that song. So like usually we'll get a skeleton or it's just a basic format of the song laid out, and then we'll like either Parker will bring that to practice or I'll bring one of those to practice or PJ will, and then all of us will flesh that out. So we'll have like a basic outline, but then eventually we all flesh it out together. And super collaborative, and yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
And with our songs too, usually the lyrics come after we're done writing the full song because you never know how it's going to turn out. And there have been some songs where I have lyrics before like the music, but you need to like time it out properly, or at least have like kind of a concept what you want to do for like the rhythm of the guitar, drums, or the lyrics.
Just saying, sometimes you just got to get lyrics down, you know. That's why you'll have certain lyrics sitting around, and it's fun to kind of form up the songs that you've eventually written with the whole band. And also, you know, I know how it is to want to like write lyrics off the feel of what the song is. You know, the song kind of makes me feel this way anyway.
The feelings of the song. This is PJ, by the way. I play drums. I hit things really hard. The feelings of the songs are like, normally it's just like a roller coaster ride. Like it's just like up and down, and like you don't know what to think half the time. But then when it comes together, it's like it's just like the culmination of the whole song just comes together, and then it pushes on. So
We take you on a little journey, is what he said.
yeah, it's a journey, and yeah, you can feel that in the music. It's great.
And you guys have been doing this a while. Talk about maybe some like horror stories, maybe some struggles that you guys have gone through, some shit that you've dealt with. Anybody?
The whole band. I'm just kidding. No, we've never been on like a hiatus per se. We've been jamming for years, and we've worked really hard for all the songs and whatnot. We've had a lot of like movement changes. We're lucky to be at Downtown Music. This is like our 6th room here, so we've been here a long time. But at one point, we did move out of Downtown Music, and we moved into this like office space that we thought was going to be cool. People like advertising it as an art studio / where bands could jam, and that kind of turned into a nightmare because we got shit stolen out of our room. Where it's like it was close to like $800 or $900 in pedals, like if you accumulated all of them, and they just like slowly went missing and like in our closet, and then like my pedal board was missing pedals and shit. But
Pedals were switched from pedal board to pedal board.
yeah, they were switched. Some of Josh's pedals were like over by mine, and so yeah, long story short, we found out like the owners were like trying to sell pedals to like one of my friends who I actually live with now, my roommate. But like on the gear swap, the Salt Lake gear swap of all fucking places. So yeah, that's all the details we'll go into on that. But we did start. There's a Facebook page. It's Utah Musicians Against Theft, and that whole occurrence of what happened there inspired that page. So at least some good shit came out of it.
Yeah, to touch on that too, like it did take us a second to regain our momentum after trying to get the pedals back and the gear back, which is another little horror story too, because it's like after you lose a member or after you get gear stolen, it's like how do you start again with everything else that you've been working on, and how do you keep that going? And I just want to point out that everybody that's in this project, you can tell that everybody's dedicated, because through all those harsh times, we've all stuck to it and still been dedicated to it the whole time, and that's how you know that this has got to go somewhere,
Right on. That's how you know you got a good team. Teamwork. Squad goals. Yay. So you guys have a pretty badass sounding EP coming up. If you haven't checked out the EP preview video, check out their Facebook page, and it's at Founders of Ruin Metal, right? Or is it just that's Facebook? Okay, and it's your videos are on that, right? That video, that preview video. Oh, and on YouTube too. Okay, cool. But anyway, go and check out that preview video, because it'll give you a good overview of like that whole EP. So what are your guys' plans as far as when that's going to be released, and what type of promotions are you guys planning on doing for that?
So our plans, as far as releasing it goes, was about 2 years ago. So that's nice. No, we've been working hard on this for a long time, and they're like just kind of the same story. Like trying to gain momentum again after losing gear also bleeds into recording time, and you actually trying to move forward on a project that you've really been putting a lot of time into. And as far as recording goes, that's another reason why we ended up doing it ourselves, because it's just like relying on other people or trying to get studio time and pay for that kind of stuff. We just figured, it might take longer, but if we figured this out and did it all on our own, it'll be more of like, it will have more meaning to us, and it's like more of like we have more control over it. And I actually am glad that we did it this way.
We are, just to touch on that, we are releasing the EP in early 2018. It's going to be in January. And we are going to kick that off with a big show, and which we'll be releasing details on. And we have some other stuff. If you saw the post that we had with the question mark, we've got some other stuff that we're working on. Yeah. So it's this is the fun time right before, it's the calm before the storm. So stuff's about to happen.
I just wanted to say that the recordings are completely done and mixed, so that's really exciting. We were really patient with it, and like it was our first jump into just DIY recording everything. So of course, there's that learning curve, but everything sounds great. Whether it be computer issues or us needing to re-record parts, we just made sure everything was nailed on it. So it's done. And then we had our buddy Chad Anderson. He's in Helium Prime right now from Dysphoria in the past, but we had him help us mix and master and record vocals. And he's been like a really big help in the quality, and everything was really good. So
Well, it's like me and Josh were saying the other day that if you want something done that sounds really good and you want to do it yourself, it's going to take a little while. So
it's actually a quote from a book that I read. It's if you want something done cheap and good, it's going to take a long time. If you want something done fast and good, it's going to be super expensive. And if you want something fast and cheap, it's not going to sound very good.
that's true. All right. Well, I'm excited for that. It's going to be awesome once that comes out. And excited also the post that you guys might see is there. It looks like they're adding a new member. So that's going to be exciting to see that something I'm sure that's been in the works for a while. And then it's going to be a cool reveal as to what member it is.
Actually, I think we're okay to say that it's a singer. We've just barely gained a vocalist who's this guy has been actually it's a funny story how we all met, which we're not, I don't know if we should go into it too much, but maybe we'll tell the story. It's great. I'm gonna leave it to Parker. Hold on.
I just want to say our new singer's name rhymes with Ronnie Josman. Okay, excellent singer. That's just a hint.
Who's this Ronnie Josman? I'm just making up names over here.
He's LDS. That's another.
Sounds LDS. Yeah. Get out of here. No. Anyway, we met this guy because Downtown Music. We had our first jam space out of 6 now. I guess this is what it is now. But he came to one of our jams because I guess he was just in the halls and he heard us jamming and he knocked on the door and my little brother let him in the room and he was just moshing while we were playing and just loving it. And him and his buddy were in there and they were drunk. They're just super drunk. And then he got a little carried away during I think one of the end breakdowns of a song and ended up knocking over one of our amps, which it landed on the couch. So I mean, it didn't hurt it, but you should have seen his face. It was hilarious. To this day, he's still kind of beside himself about that. But no, so we met him. We didn't ever expect to try him out or anything. And years later, hadn't seen him for years later. We were at the Dethrone and Machines of Man show. And I went up to Jake and I asked him if he knew any vocalists in the area, and if he did, to send him my way. And the gentleman that we're trying out now, or the guy that's now in the band, Mr. Question Mark, the new character that we're about to unlock, he's right there, and he just turned to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm a vocalist. I want to try out." And then Jake just looked at me and he was like, "All right, there you go. I did my job." No, but then we ended up having him come down and we jammed, and it was awesome right away. Like, trying out a bunch of different vocalists. We ended up thinking to ourselves that we would just do something different with vocals. Maybe have a bunch of different vocalists on the EP, or have a bunch of different vocalists that we just kind of cycle between. But then when this guy came around, he killed it, and we realized, we just need this guy.
That's awesome. Everything sounds like it's coming together nicely for you guys. Nothing but good vibes towards that, and good luck towards your endeavors and what you're doing. One last kind of fun thing that I do with all my interviews is I ask everybody what would be your super / like mutant power if you could have one. So we'll just go around and do that real quick.
I would want to control gravity. Get Gravity Man. If you need a planet, I got you. I'm making one with gravity.
I would, I just want to fly. Like, I would just want to fly as fast as anything. Yeah. Exactly. I just want to fly. Exactly.
I would want to piss the world's best beer. Fresh, cold every time, best beer.
You piss the best beer.
Best answer. Best answer so far. Parker McIntyre. Yes. Okay. Well, all right. So again, they're Founders of Ruin. Check them out on Facebook for sure, and YouTube, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Instagram. They're social media whores. Like they're on MySpace.
We sincerely just want to thank everyone that was and is a part of Founders of Ruin. Every little piece that made this little bit possible. Because it was a long road, and I can remember sitting at my laptop for hours working, and having Josh come to my house, or having me driving to Josh's house and staying up till the wee hours of the morning, and all of us just kind of hanging out. Parker and all our friends coming over sometimes, keeping us going, and we finally done it. And it's just, there's very specific people that we just really are thankful for helping us in this endeavor. So yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Muchas gracias.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on the Underground Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
That was a great interview. Those dudes are super professional. I really appreciate having them on. They like my podcast so much that they want to debut a song on here, so it's really cool. And it's off their EP that's coming out in about a month or so. The song is called Concept of the Void.
Something, very
Okay, we're going to do some upcoming events for you. These are basically upcoming events on jrcslc.com. Salt Lake City upcoming events that you can check out. Again, I like promoting JRC events because they're a company that brings national acts into town, and they like to help out the local bands by giving them a spot to open up for national acts. So I think that's a great way to give the local scene kind of a leg up and a good opportunity to open up for some of these national guys. Anyway, so you can find all this on jrcslc.com. First upcoming event is Scale the Summit and Angel Vivaldi, the Guitar Collective 2017, with Andy James, Machines of Man, and that's going to be at Metro Music Hall November 29th, 7 p.m. It's 21 and older. Tickets are $18 in advance. Next event is Vista Kicks with Wives and Mantis Jackson. That's going to be at Club X December 1st, 8 p.m. It's a 21 and older show. Tickets are $10 in advance on that one. Next event is Peppermint with DJ Shutter, Terra Flesh, Lilla Megan, and London Skies. And that's going to be at Metro Music Hall December 2nd, 9 p.m. It's 21 and older. Tickets are $15 in advance, $30 for the meet and greet tickets for that event. Last but not least, we have Dayshell with Eyes Set to Kill. They're going to be with Sifting, Classic Jack, Adashore, and Sheep in a Foxhole. Again, that's one of the shows with a lot of local bands on the bill. That's going to be at the Loading Dock December 5th, 6:30 p.m. It's an all-ages show. Tickets are $12 in advance. Those are your upcoming events. Again, check out jrcslc.com for all of those. Okay, real quick, just to wrap up the show here, going to go ahead and do my album and song challenge of the week. This is the album challenge this week. It's the 10-year anniversary of Thrice, The Alchemy Index. This is one of those albums that almost, completely changed me when it came out. Thrice has always kind of been like scripture to me, so I'm a little biased about it. But imagine if you took Thrice's different styles of music that they make, split them into 4 different categories, and then you take each one of those styles and just push it all the way to as far as it can go. That's what the Alchemy Index is. Go out there and buy the 10-year anniversary re-release. Great listen, definitely worth it. Again, that's Thrice, The Alchemy Index, 10-year anniversary re-release. The song I'm going to challenge you to go listen to, you got to listen to it harder. They need all the support they can get. It's by a band, Manchester Orchestra. The song is called The Gold. It's off their album, A Black Mile to the Surface. It's just barely came out a few weeks ago. It's doing great, but it needs to do better because I love this band. Again, go check that out. That's by Manchester Orchestra. The song's called The Gold. And the album is called A Black Mile to the Surface. Well, that about wraps it up for episode 3. Want to give a special thanks, shout out to Founders of Ruin. Made for a really exciting episode. I really appreciate it. Drop me a line, guys. My email address is theundergroundpodcastcasey@gmail.com. You can drop me a line there. Let me know what you think about the show. You can contact me there if you have a band that would like to be on the show, if you want me to come interview you guys. Also, if you want to tell me the show sucks, that's fine. Or tell me that you love the show. That'd be even better. Facebook is just at The Underground Podcast Casey. I'm also on SoundCloud. Check out the YouTube channel. And I'm also on Bandcamp. Again, I appreciate you downloading the episode and listening to it. Appreciate all of your support. I'm your host, Casey Jackson, Rocksteady, Salt Lake City. And this has been The Underground Podcast with Casey Jackson.